As a small business owner who has turned her hobbies into a full-time income for herself, it's been really difficult navigating the difference between what are my hobbies and what is my business. And as somebody who genuinely still enjoys doing the things that I do for my business as my hobbies, there is a fine line between creating things for my business as like a business venture versus creating things for myself and being creative in my own space. And I feel like over the last couple of months, I have really teetered that line, and I have noticed a huge shift in my creativity, my motivation, my ability to show up every single day for my business, because essentially I am literally relying on my own brain and the things around me to inspire me to create different collections and different products and new content ideas. So the past couple of weeks, I've really been learning how to step back from the business and looking at crafts and hobbies and, sewing, coloring, drawing from a business perspective and more so from a hobby perspective. And I feel like even by doing this for the last couple of weeks, it has really shifted my perspective on my hobbies, and it has helped me increase my inspiration and creativity levels drastically. So I wanted to kind of talk about the different things that I have been doing, the things that I want to continue doing, and some of the new hobbies that I do want to learn and just do for myself, because not everything has to be something that I do for my business or something that I make into a product to sell, because I feel like as a business owner who hand makes a lot of her stuff as well as turns her hobbies into something for her business, it is so important to have hobbies that you do that aren't monetized. But I feel like this isn't a topic that is talked about enough, but I feel like a lot of us creatives and small business owners really struggle with this part. And so I kind of wanted to share with you guys my experience and what I've been experiencing. I am by no means somebody who has mastered this yet. I feel like I still have so much more to learn. But with my new initiative of wanting to utilize the hobbies and supplies that I already have and I've already purchased, because I have a lot, I find something new on like TikTok or Instagram, and then I go to the store and like buy everything for it, and then I don't end up completing a project, or I start it and then don't have the time to finish it because I'm busy with work. So I want to also utilize the crafts and supplies and hobby things I have in my house and start to finish projects and learn new skills with things that I already have to help reduce the amount of waste that I create, because I do hoard a lot of hobby supplies and things to do different crafts and then don't end up using them, and then they just sit there, which I feel like is something that is really important, because I feel like I definitely overconsume a lot of crafts and supplies from Michael's and Walmart and, all those craft stores. So I have a goal for myself this year to start utilizing stuff that I already have instead of going out to buy new things. And there are just so many different hobbies and crafts that you can do with supplies that you just can find around your house, especially if you're somebody who is a creative who already has a lot of different random craft supplies. I feel like there are so many things that you can learn to do and find in your house and just create something fun and just have a good time just making things for fun. I feel like I lose track of my own hobbies and developing my own creativity like aside from my business, and I kind of forget that I am still somebody who loves to do crafts and loves to paint and loves to embroider and loves to do all that kind of stuff. So the first thing I want to talk about is setting aside time every night or a couple nights a week to just do something that has nothing to do with work. And now this can actually apply to people who aren't like small business owners and people who aren't like creatives and have turned their hobbies into their business. But like for me, setting aside time to read or play on my Switch or color a page from my coloring book every night has helped me just like unwind and separate myself from sometimes the chaos that is my business. And I have seen such a drastic improvement in not only like my creativity to, create for my business, but also just like my overall sentiment and mood. I'm somebody who gets really overwhelmed and very high strung very quickly. It does not take a lot for me to get overwhelmed and feel very like cluster brained. So finding things and hobbies that really help me unwind unwind and detach and kind of separate myself from my busy days is such a important thing in my life. And so coloring has been one of the really big ones for me. And I used to color as a kid. I think we've all kind of colored as a kid. And with this new like coloring trend popping up, I think it is really a good thing. And I have a bunch of like those Coco Wild coloring books from Amazon. And I also have a Bobby Goods coloring book. So cute. And I love supporting small businesses. But I love how simple and how uncomplicated it is to color these pages. They're very simple drawings, and they also have like adult coloring books on Amazon, but I feel like those are just so complicated that like my brain has to do too much thinking with that, and I basically don't want to think when I'm doing these hobbies to kind of unwind from my day. And you don't even need any of the expensive coloring supplies. Like you genuinely could just go buy Crayola markers from Walmart and color with that. You could use crayons, pencil crayons, like whatever you want. Coloring is so relaxing. If you're somebody who likes to listen to music while you color, definitely try doing that. I personally love either listening to like instrumental jazz, coffee shop, Animal Crossing music, or I love listening to whatever audiobook I am into at the moment. So that has been such a good way for me to relax at night. I love getting to pick the colors and see how they turn out on the page. And sometimes I pick like a color palette, do like pinks or pastels and blues. And it's just such a calming, mindless activity that I really feel has benefited my ability to just mellow out at night. I have a very difficult time separating myself from my job because my job is actually in my house. It is literally just across the hallway. So I find myself staying in my office way too late, working way too much, and not taking care of my mental health. So coloring has definitely been something that I've been really enjoying. I do have the Ohuhu markers. They are a pretty penny, but like I said, you don't need to get Ohuhu markers. There are so many cheaper and more affordable alternatives like Cali Art markers, and they have a whole bunch of other like dupes on Amazon if you want to check them out. Another thing that has been really fun for me is playing games. I used to be a huge gamer when I was younger. I loved playing games like The Sims and Minecraft, and I had these other like online games like Moshi Monsters and stuff like that. So I've been just somebody who loves online games ever since I was a kid. I recently just got the Nintendo Switch for Christmas, and I've been obsessed with playing Animal Crossing. It's just like a chill game. Now I know I'm late to the Animal Crossing game hype thing, but honestly I have really just been enjoying sometimes picking up my Switch and cozying up on the couch and just playing games and just kind of being in my own little bubble. I think that I have a hard time accepting that I need to take a break sometimes, and that even if I'm playing games or coloring or doing something that doesn't involve working, I have to tell myself a lot of the time that I'm still being productive and that I'm not being lazy because I'm not working on my business every single second of the day. That's not realistic for somebody who wants to continue to grow their business and actually thrive. I feel like in my brain, I think that I need to be working every single moment that I'm awake, when in reality, that's gonna burn me out so much faster and actually make me resent working. And I know this from firsthand experience because when I was working in my office like 12 hours a day, constantly watching YouTube videos and tutorials and, you know, making content, editing thumbnails, like just doing so much all the time and never giving myself a break, I had no desire to do any of that stuff at a certain point. At some point, I started to actually resent my business so much that I wanted to quit. I wanted to just say, you know what, I am throwing in the towel. I don't want to do my business anymore. This is not something that I want to do because I actually hate it. But in reality, it wasn't that I hated it. It was that I spent way too much time in my business without a break. And I think that's where a lot of people find difficulty in continuing their small business, because it's something that you love, it's something that you want to do, and you are just so excited to build your business and create new things. And a lot of the time we do create businesses out of our hobbies, so we already love doing that stuff, and so we are determined on growing our business and making new stuff. So I feel like we put a lot of pressure on ourselves as small business owners to constantly be pushing out content and creating products, etc. But it's so important important to remember to take breaks. And so that's why I've been essentially forcing myself to take breaks in the evenings and on the weekends. And I used to work over the weekend, but now I don't work on the weekend anymore. Another thing that I've been doing, like I mentioned, I'm trying to reduce the amount of craft supply waste and hoarding that I have. So I've been trying to learn new hobbies that I can do and learn new skills. One thing that I've been really interested in kind of picking back up again, but also relearning it, is embroidery. So I have so much embroidery floss, like so much. I used to do those little bracelets where you would just loop it at the top and then like start pulling it over and creating knots, I think, like chevron and things like that. So I used to do those bracelets all the time, and I would make them in the summer and then wear them around as anklets and bracelets and stuff, make them for my friends. So over time, I've collected so much embroidery floss. I've been seeing a lot of cross stitching and a lot of embroidery videos on my Instagram feed. It reminded me that I had this stash of embroidery floss. So I wanted to learn how to create those little circle, like little images and things. So I wanted to thank the sponsor of today's video, which is Skillshare. If you guys don't already know, Skillshare has been such an amazing supporter of this channel and my journey. And if you're unfamiliar with what Skillshare is, they are the largest online learning community for creatives and hobby girlies. And they have thousands of different online classes that you can take, ranging from productivity, gratitude, sewing, cooking, baking, like literally the whole nine. They even have like gardening classes if you want to learn how to garden. What I love the most about Skillshare is that they offer so many different types of videos and classes that you can take, taught by a variety of different people, which means you are bound to find something that resonates with you and that you want to learn. So on my initiative to use more of my craft supplies, I decided to take to Skillshare to look for a class on embroidery. And I actually found one that has been so fun learning. So I've been taking this embroidery for beginners class, and we are currently learning how to do all the different types of stitching. I love that the classes are broken down into smaller segments so that I can watch them in parts and not spend, you know, hours one night trying to learn something, where I can just watch like 5 minutes one day, 10 minutes the next day. It's easily broken down into different segments of the video, so you can literally pick this back up at a later date and not feel like you are lost in the video. I've watched so many classes on Skillshare that have helped me in both my business and also just in my personal creative journey. And I really love Skillshare and the platform that they offer. I think it is so amazing for people who want to learn new skills, but also for people who just want to freshen up and expand their knowledge, because like I said, they have so many classes. And I think it's so important to continuously work on skills that you already have. And there's always so much more to learn. And honestly, learning can be fun sometimes, especially when it's something that you love to do. So if you want to learn a new skill, or if you're interested in following along with my journey on utilizing all the craft supplies to do fun hobbies and learn new skills with me, definitely check out the link down below, because the first 500 people to use my link in the description will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. So there's no better time to learn a new skill or expand upon ones that you already have than now. So definitely check out the link in my description, and thank you again to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Another thing that I think has been really helpful to create things for myself again and just enjoy the process of creating has been junk journaling. I started a junk journal back when we did Vlogmas, and I had so much fun creating the little title page and adding the little bow. I'll link the video up here. But recently I just added my monthly read spread in there from January, and I had so much fun. I used to bullet journal when I was younger, and I spent a lot of time bullet journaling, but I also spent a lot of time like planning every meticulous thing. And maybe that was better for me when I was younger. That kind of taught me how to like do layouts and things like that. But now as I'm older, I find myself just wanting to go with the flow and not pre-plan everything all the time, or like sketch things out and, you know, make sure everything is perfect. I think that that has been something that I've also struggled with, is like this perfectionism thing, and like kind of like perfection paralysis, where I know it's not going to be perfect, or I feel like it's not going to be exactly what's in my brain. So it prohibits me from actually doing the thing. And I feel like that has hindered me in so many different ways when it comes to my business or just creatively on my own time. And I actually went into my junk journaling like monthly spread without any idea of what I was gonna do, and I kind of just started gluing and writing things and pasting things on the paper, and it actually turned out so cute and I felt so peaceful while doing it. I was listening to a little piano music playlist on YouTube and I was just going at it, gluing stuff. I made these little star stickers for all the ratings in my books, and I truly just enjoyed not planning things, and I didn't let the fear of the spread or the page not looking perfect discourage me from actually making the journal, because the whole point of junk journaling is just to put literal junk on the page and make it look cute. So I just really wanted to embrace that, and I feel like by doing that every single month or even a couple times a month is going to really help me come away from that idea that I need everything to be perfect and everything needs to be exactly the way that I, think of it in my head. Going back to the topic of being a small business owner, I feel like when I create things for myself, or when I have in the past, I feel like kind of guilty that I'm not making this to, or like with the intent to sell it, or with the intent to put it on the website or sell it on my story. I found myself never making myself anything. I would never make myself punch needle mug rugs. I would never make myself my own stickers. I would never keep any of my products myself. I just felt super guilty about that because I was like, no, this is for the business, this is for people, I can't keep any of this. Like I need to sell this because, just business mindset. But also like I love creating, I love making things, and now I love sewing, I love punch needling, and I have the opportunity and the privilege to be able to create these things and make so many cute accessories and things. I should be able to create things for myself and create cute things for myself too. Over my holiday break, I ended up creating a couple of bags for myself. I tried out some YouTube tutorials, I bought some patterns off of Etsy, and I just made my own projects. I did not film it, I didn't post it online, I just genuinely sewed something for myself, actually a couple of things, and I loved it. I loved being able to just not have to film anything, not have to worry about, getting the camera angles right and showing you guys exactly what I'm doing. Don't get me wrong, I love filming and I love showing you guys everything, but sometimes I just want to be in my little bubble and create things, and I feel like that also has benefited my ability to think of new ideas, because when I'm filming, I'm thinking about filming, I'm thinking about the angles that I have to do. I'm also working and doing my own thing as well, but when I'm filming, I'm also working, and even if I'm creating something for myself, I'm still kind of essentially working. So I feel by like turning the camera off sometimes and just making things in my own little space and not posting it and not, making sure that I get all the angles right, it allows me to kind of just be in my own head and like be with my own thoughts. I end up thinking about really cool ideas sometimes and I write them down, or I end up thinking about different ways to do something, like whatever I'm doing, whether it's punch needle or sewing or drawing or making stickers. Like I end up thinking about so many different things that I wouldn't have thought about if I was like filming it or if I was doing it for a video or something like to do with my business. So I feel like that also is something that is kind of helpful if you are a business owner who doesn't make enough time to create for themselves. Try creating one thing for yourself a month if you can. I think it's just such an underrated thing, like making things for yourself when you have a business. And I think as business owners, we forget about doing that, and it's important. The last thing that I have been kind of thinking about and also trying to practice to do less of is consuming or over consuming content online. And I talked about this in one of my previous studio vlogs, but I kind of wanted to mention it here because I think it fits very well with the topic of like creating for yourself and getting your spark back, because I found myself over consuming business content and just content in general, whether that's Instagram, Reels, YouTube, Shorts, etc. It gets very overwhelming constantly consuming things because there's just so many things that you could be watching, and I feel like it just creates a lot of noise up here and a lot of just stuff, and like you're not able to think about anything when you're constantly just being filled up with different videos and different ideas of what other people are doing, and you're not able to think about what you want to do. And one of my small business owner friends as well, Jessica from Archery Corner, kind of talked about this in her video, and I'll link it down below if you guys want to go watch it. I love watching YouTube videos. I love watching small business vlogs, and I love watching, you know, people working on their business. But I also feel like by only watching that all the time and not, one, expanding the different types of videos that you watch, or two, not just turning it off sometimes, I feel like it just overwhelms you and you feel like there's always something more that you could be doing, or there's always something else that you could be doing, or, you know, they're doing this, so like now you have to do this, or they're doing that, so now you can't do that. So I feel like by sometimes just turning off the videos, and I know this is very like counterintuitive because I'm legitimately making a video right now, but the thought is there. By turning off the videos and limiting the amount of content you consume, not just small business videos, but just videos and shorts and reels and TikToks, just limiting how much social media you consume, you will notice such a drastic change in everything, really. Like, I am all for social media. Obviously, like, social media is a huge part of my job, and I'm obviously on social media right this second because I'm talking to you guys. But I feel like we become so tuned in to the content where we forget about, you know, what it's like to just not have something in our ear. And I have been kind of practicing this for the last month or so, and that's not to say that I don't watch small business videos, because I still do, but I find myself reaching for an audiobook or just like music without lyrics when I'm working, when I'm punch needling, when I am coloring, when I'm sewing. It allows me to just be with my thoughts. And this helps me think of new ideas and find different ways to be creative for myself, for my business. It benefits both sides, which I think is such an important thing, because we can't just be favoring one thing because then we forget about the other thing. And that goes for both. We can't just be favoring, you know, what we want to do all the time, because then we're going to be forgetting about our business. But then we also can't be favoring our business because then we're going to be forgetting about what we want to do sometimes. So I think it's all about finding that balance when it comes to running a business as a creative, and also somebody who still enjoys their hobby time like myself. So I think the moral of the story is to spend a little bit of extra time focusing on the things that you want to do sometimes, and don't feel guilty for doing things for yourself or for creating something for you and not selling it online. Like I said, I've seen such a drastic change in my ability to show up every day for my business, but also my ability to detach from my business and just be like Mia as a person rather than like Mia the small business owner. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's a little bit different and we're kind of talking about something that I don't normally talk about, but I feel like it's important. This year I am determined on sharing with you guys my journey and the things that I am struggling with, but also the things that I'm thriving in. So thank you for spending a little bit of time with me and listening to me yap endlessly. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to leave a like, and don't forget to subscribe so you can join the Queenie community and join us for weekly studio vlogs and also videos just like this one that I try to post every single week. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!